President Trump has signed a bill that requires the State Department to review guidelines for the United States' engagement with Taiwan. The Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman responded, saying the U.S. should, quote, handle the Taiwan issue with utmost caution. I should mention that this is something that happens at least every 5 years. It has to be done. Joining us now from Taipei is Bloomberg's Samson Ellis. So, Samson, as I say, this has to be done, but is there some extra significance to this new bill?
Well, on the surface, this looks like little more than a procedural measure from the US government. If you look at the wording of the bill, as you just mentioned, it requires the US government to review how it interacts with the government in Taiwan, plus look for ways to remove self-imposed limitations on that interaction and do that every 5 years. But it certainly is a major display of support for Taiwan, and the fact that it passed the House of Representatives and the Senate unanimously just underscores exactly how deep the support for Taiwan is in the US. And it does recall a move way back in the last few days of the first Trump term in 2021, when the Trump administration made a surprise move by removing many of the self-imposed decades-old limitations on how the US interacts with Taiwan. For example, requiring diplomatic and military officials to get written permission before traveling to Taiwan, or even restrictions on where the US could meet with Taiwanese officials. And obviously, if you step back, you know, the broader context of this is that Taiwan is at the center of something of a spat in this part of the world between China and Japan, where China's continuing to rail against comments made by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi last month that were China to attempt to invade Taiwan, that could potentially pose an existential threat to Japan.
Yes.
But while that dispute is more about Taiwan rather than involving Taiwan, this latest move from Washington has certainly been welcomed in Taiwan.